All right, let's dig in. Ever find yourself daydreaming about life as a chef?
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking more than just, those viral food videos, but the real deal. The pressure, the hustle, the heart of a real kitchen.
Let me tell you, it's a whole other world once you step through those kitchen doors.
Yeah.
Way more to it than just having a killer knife set and every spice under the sun.
Totally. And luckily, we've got RoleCatcher's career guide,
Mm.
chef, to break it all down, getting into what it takes to make it in this crazy, delicious world.
And crazy is right.
So chaotic.
People think it's all about the food, but being a chef, it's way more than that.
Okay, so spill the beans. What else is there? What does a normal day even look like for a chef?
Well, first, you can ditch that calmly, adding a pinch of salt image.
Out the window.
Chefs are managing teams, wrangling inventory, dealing with budgets. It's a wild ride.
So more than just searing the perfect scallop, then.
Way more. Take planning a menu, for example. It's not just about what sounds good. It's got to be on trend. You have to get ingredients responsibly, and then there's food costs and all that.
Makes sense. Can't be serving Wagyu beef every night.
Right.
Got to keep an eye on what people want, ain't the budget.
Exactly. And speaking of budget, one thing that really stood out to me was how important cutting down on food waste is.
Oh, interesting.
It's not just some trendy thing. For chefs, it's a make-or-break skill these days.
Hold on. Food waste is like a sought-after skill. Tell me more about that.
Well, think about it. Ingredients cost money.
Yeah.
Right? So every little bit you waste, that's basically money down the drain. Chefs are expected to get creative, cut down that waste, smarter menus, better storage, the whole 9 yards.
So it's good for the planet and the wallet. That's brilliant.
Exactly. And that's actually where technology comes in. We're not just talking fancy ovens and gadgets. I mean real software.
Oh, wow.
Tracking inventory, predicting what they'll need based on past orders.
Chefs are using algorithms now. That's next level. RoleCatcher gets into all that too.
They do. They actually highlight how important it's becoming for chefs to be tech savvy.
Okay.
And it makes sense. The more efficient your kitchen is, the more profitable it'll be.
It's like you need a business degree on top of culinary school these days. So with all that responsibility, what's the payoff? What's it really like in the heat of the moment, night after night? I bet. Working in a professional kitchen, I imagine that's not for the faint of heart. So what are some of those, let's call them character-building parts of the job that RoleCatcher mentions?
Well, for one, say goodbye to regular sleep. Those long, irregular hours are just part of the deal. Late nights, early mornings, weekends, holidays, you name it. Chefs are usually working when everyone else is off having fun.
Okay, so work-life balance might need some work.
Yeah.
Burning the midnight oil to get a 3-course meal out. Probably not a lot of time for relaxing at home, but there's got to be some upsides, right? What makes it worth it? RoleCatcher has to have some good news.
Of course. For one, there's that creative freedom you just don't get in a lot of jobs. Designing dishes, experimenting with flavors. It's like being an artist, but your ingredients are your palette.
Yeah, I can see that. Knowing you created something that people love, that's got to feel good.
The best. And then there's the rush,
Yeah.
that fast-paced environment, working under pressure. It's a lot, but for some people, that's what they live for.
I'll be honest. I get stressed just thinking about making dinner for a few people, let alone a whole restaurant. So for those listening who are still feeling up for the challenge, what's the path even look like? Is it straight from school to head chef, or is there a certain route you take?
Well, according to RoleCatcher, it's definitely a journey. And it's not always easy. You don't just graduate and become head chef overnight. It takes time. You have to work your way up.
More of a marathon than a sprint.
Exactly. Most chefs start out in entry-level jobs like line cooks, prepping food, learning the basics. You really have to work your way up.
Like culinary boot camp, right?
That's a great way to put it. It's about building that foundation, discipline, resilience, really understanding how a kitchen works. It's all about soaking up knowledge, learning from the more experienced chefs, and proving yourself.
So more than just knowing the techniques, it's about that real-world experience.
Absolutely. And as you move up, you can start to specialize. Like RoleCatcher talks about how pastry chefs are in high demand right now. They're the artists making those intricate desserts, really elevating the whole meal.
Okay, now you're speaking my language. As someone with a massive sweet tooth, I have so much respect for the skill that takes.
It's amazing. And remember how we were talking about how important it is to reduce food waste?
Yeah.
Well, that's actually becoming a specialization too.
Wow.
There are chefs who focus specifically on making kitchens more sustainable, reducing waste, really maximizing what they can do with what they have.
That's incredible. So they're not just keeping up with trends in food, but also what's good for the planet.
Exactly. It's a win-win. And speaking of staying ahead of the curve, RoleCatcher talks about how important certifications are for chefs these days.
Certifications,
Yeah.
like actual
Yeah,
credentials.
they can really boost your resume, show that you're serious. Like, they highlight the Certified Executive Chef or CEC certification. That's a big one in the industry.
Mhm.
Basically shows you've reached a high level of skill and leadership.
CEC, that sounds official, like you're being knighted into a culinary order. But what about those earlier stages? Anything for those still working their way up?
Oh, absolutely. They talk about the Certified Sous Chef or CSC credential. It's a great goal for those aspiring head chefs. Shows you're ready to handle the heat.
Like culinary black belts. You work your way up the ranks. But let's get back to RoleCatcher for a second. We've talked about how they give you the rundown on the culinary world, but it sounds like they've got some pretty cool tools too, especially when it comes to actually getting a job.
You're right. They go way beyond just information. They've actually got AI built into the platform.
Mhm.
It's designed to give chefs a leg up in their job search.
Okay, now we're talking. AI in the kitchen? I got to hear more about this.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Say you're looking at job postings and you find one that seems perfect.
Okay.
Well, instead of sending out the same old resume, you upload it to RoleCatcher, and their AI actually analyzes the job description, figures out exactly what the employer wants, and then it helps you tweak your resume so it's a perfect match.
Wow. So no more crossing your fingers and hoping for the best. That's amazing.
And it gets even better. Let's say you nail the resume and get an interview.
Okay.
RoleCatcher's got you covered there, too, with their AI interview prep.
Wait, they help you practice for the actual interview?
They do.
That's incredible.
They've got this huge database of common interview questions specifically for culinary jobs. You can practice answering them, and get this, the AI gives you feedback, tells you what you can improve, helps you really build your confidence.
So it's like having a personal coach in your pocket.
Yeah,
No more awkward pauses or drawing a blank when they ask you about your 5-year plan.
exactly. RoleCatcher's really gone above and beyond to help chefs at every stage. But, even with all the technology and fancy tools, there's one thing that can't be faked, and that's your own unique perspective.
I love that. So as much as it is about the techniques, it's also about bringing something new to the table.
Exactly. Your personality, your background, even your sense of humor. That's what makes your food special. That's what makes it memorable.
It's true, like anyone can follow a recipe, but the chef, that's what brings it all to life.
Exactly. So for anyone listening, if you're passionate, if you're ready to put in the work, if you're not afraid of a little heat,
A little heat, yeah.
being a chef might just be a perfect fit.
But it's not just about mastering the skills or acing the interview. It's about finding that unique flavor you bring. What makes you stand out? This has been an incredible look into the world of professional kitchens.
It really has.
And if you're hungry for more, whether it's culinary arts or any other career path, be sure to check out RoleCatcher's website. They've got a ton of amazing resources. Until next time, happy cooking, everyone.